Check out these beautiful snickerdoodle cookies that I made yesterday and even lay them out beautifully, unlike my normal meals. You can find a recipe on TotalBodyLab.com in the recipe blog. Dog, please don't knock off my tripod. Let's go. Let's go here. Come on. You're tangled. Let's go. Thank you. Hi, dog. Okay. This morning, we are going to talk about what I actually do as an online coach, because apparently not everybody is familiar. And the more I go to VegFest now and speaking engagements, the more people, I guess, are confused and they're like, oh, so where are you located? Where are you located? And I'm like, online. I'm an online coach. That means I'm located everywhere or nowhere if you don't have internet. So we are going to talk about that a little bit. Let's go. First and foremost, I talk people out of doing stupid shit. Like, the number one question that I get is, where do I get my protein? The number two question that I get is, how quickly can I lose 20 pounds? I don't know why it's a magic number, 20, but yeah, for some reason, it's just 20 pounds. It's not at what rate can I healthfully lose body fat, not weight, because weight can be anything, and retain my results. The rate is what matters, not the amount. It's not like college graduation of you like, lost weight, here's a diploma, and you just keep it. Like when you lose weight, it's not like, oh, okay, I've lost weight forever. Like, no, your body changes all the time. So the amount kind of doesn't matter. It's more of a rate that you should worry about to make sure you're doing it quickly enough that you're motivated and happy, and slowly enough that your body can actually keep its metabolism relatively fast and not go, super terrible on hormones or how you feel or recovery or sleep or your strength training and a bunch of other factors, right? So there's that. Number two thing that I do for people as an online coach is I correct their form. The way I do that confuses people who have never used online coach is they just send me their videos, right? So I have an application that's TotalBodyLab, the same as my company, where I hope you can hear it because it's super windy. Basically, it's accessible only for my clients, and they can see everything there. They can see their program, I can see their photos, I can see what they have eaten, how much they've slept, especially if they hook up the fitness watch, Apple Watch, Fitbit, Withings, whatever they use. And they also send me videos of typically I request videos of their top sets, so their heaviest sets of compound movements. Compound movements are not like isolated, like bicep curls or abs. They're usually, like squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, cleans and snatches, things like that. So I check videos of those and give them recommendations on what they should change, and if they're being unsafe, I'm like, all right, let's tone it down a little bit and actually use this easier exercise. So whenever anybody writes you a program, you got to understand that if it's an online coach, they haven't seen you in person, they haven't seen how you move. So in order to advise anything whatsoever, they need to see how you move. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting your money. So I would say if you have hired a coach and you don't have a lot of experience exercising, you're not necessarily sure how to do certain movements, and they wrote you like a killer program and it's super awesome, but you haven't tried like 80% of that stuff before, even half that stuff, you should probably send them videos and request that they check your form. And if they refuse to, I would be kind of concerned, because how do they know that you're doing this stuff correctly? Like, I've seen people, sometimes like, oh, I'm too busy, and then they don't send me videos for a bunch of weeks, maybe even months. And then finally I'm like, dear client, like, this is heavy. I want for you to be safe. Like, I understand you're a triathlete, former military, whatever you are. You're a super badass heroine. Please send me some videos. I want to see how you move. They send me, and I'm just like horrified because it looks bad. It looks unsafe. So I like to do that from the beginning. I like to check videos of every workout. ideally every week. And I don't want to say like if clients don't send videos, it's kind of on them because we are a team, but it sucks when they don't. I'm really worried. And I would say that the next week of training is not as personalized if I don't see how they move, right? Because, for example, if you have tight ankles and that's why you can't squat down to the ground, that's why your heels lift up, that's a different story if you have than if you have tight hips or weak glutes or hypermobility. Completely different. And if the person's like, oh, I couldn't squat 20 times body weight, or if I couldn't squat 5 times with 95 pounds on my back, there's a gazillion of reasons why that could happen. I hope you guys understand. And if you have an online coach or a coach that you don't check in person and you don't send them videos, I'm throwing shade to that coach right now. The third thing that I do as an online coach is I recommend that people go to therapy, because I am not a doctor and I am not a therapist, and people really love to spend their check-in weekly calls with me by talking about their wife and their dog and their neighbor and their husband and their kids and how they don't have time and giving all of the excuses, and just they're just venting. And I can't really give them any concrete advice on that. I can't just listen and be like, but I wish I could be more useful. Maybe if I had therapy education, I would be. Maybe if I was a psychologist, I would be. Or a psychiatrist even sometimes, but I'm not. So I feel like they're wasting their time and money and not getting much out of this because I just listen. So if it sounds like they are depressed, they have anxiety, or their ADHD is getting into their, training in life, and there's a problem, but I can't solve it, I do recommend they go see a doctor or they go see a therapist. And most of the times, nobody listens. But if 1 out of 10 listens, that's still success, right? That's as much as I can do. Number 4 thing that I do as an online coach is I give people equipment suggestions, especially if they train at home and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to buy stuff. And I will tell them like what barbells to buy, what squat racks to buy, what weights to buy, or for some bleh. Sometimes they want to buy stuff and they don't really need it. So for example, if they travel a lot and it's a person without much experience, so body weight is enough. Plus hotel gyms usually have free weights. They usually have like an elliptical treadmill and a bunch of free weights, usually like dumbbells from 5 to 45. We can just use those dumbbells. And usually they also have a cable machine, right? But if they don't, we can just use those dumbbells in hotel gyms and bands. Bands they can use at home, they can use them everywhere. Bands are super versatile, super cheap, and easy to bring. So that is my suggestion. In the gym, obviously I also make equipment suggestions. For the most part, I just talk people out of using machines. Because yeah, machines are great, but if you learn how to train with a barbell, body weight, and just a combo rack, the bench and the squat rack, then usually you can build a much stronger, sturdier, better, people would say more toned of a body than using a bunch of machines. You can use machines after your barbell workout to just accessorize your main lifts, right? That's why we call them accessories, rather than using only machines, especially if you're worried about being unsafe. Oh, we're gonna get into that into the video tomorrow. One of my potential clients was like first interested, and then she looked at my website and she's like, oh man, yeah, I don't wanna, oh God, dogs are going nuts. 1 second. Everybody's good, dogs are good. The tripod did not get knocked down, yes. Wait. Apologies. So, yeah, essentially, I try to encourage people to use more free weights and to learn more compound movements rather than only using machines, even if sometimes I think it is safer for their back, for their knees, for whatever, to use less weight or no weight and only machines, which is not true. You need to work out your muscles that respond to balance. You need to be a more well-rounded athlete rather than only do the same machine exercises and think you're good, right? Number 5 thing that I do as an online coach is I encourage people to eat more. Oh man, pretty much across the board, no matter if they come to me to lose weight or to gain weight, usually people don't eat enough. And I get it now because I've been an athlete for a while and I have been on way too many diets before I got certified and before I started doing this, recreationally and then with friends and then for a living. I probably started dieting at the age of 13. Don't ask me. It didn't make sense. It was just whatever people do now at the age of 30 and 40 and 50, and it really scares me because you can easily research fad diets and see what doesn't work, but people still do that stuff. So I usually encourage people to eat more variety and to eat more fruits and vegetables, to try more vegan options if they haven't before, even if they're not vegan, just to include more of a variety of proteins and micronutrients into their diets, to eat more fiber, and to drop down their cholesterol. Like a lot of the times folks will come and they'll be like, oh yeah, I want to feel better, I want to be healthier, blah, blah. And yeah, I ask for progress photos, but majority of the time I need those to look at their posture and to look at if they have scoliosis or how their hips are, if they're hunching, how their legs are, how they're standing, what side is kind of more dominant. But yeah, we can use them for body fat percentage determination as well. And people love that stuff. People absolutely want to know what body fat percent they are, even though it doesn't matter, like, at all. But a more important metric would be their blood work. And I have only had one client. I think I've coached around 300 people at this point online. Only one person has come to me and immediately was like, hey, Katya, I need to be healthier. Here's my blood work. I need to drop down my cholesterol, blah, blah, blah. This is triglycerides. This is what my doctor and I talked about. They said I need to eat more fiber, eat better, work out more. I don't know how to balance all of that stuff. I don't know how to balance my amino acids, so please help me. That was super cool. Nobody else really has ever cared about their blood work, but if they can, if their insurance plan provides them with free blood work evaluation once a year, which it normally does, your insurance probably does, or even if it's not free, it's like, less than $100, which is so worth to spend once a year just to know where you stand, if you can afford it, and make changes from there, right? And I've had multiple people who were like, yeah, I'm thinking of going vegan, or I'm thinking of including more plants in my diet, more plant-based foods in my diet. And clearly I can provide them those meals, those options, those recipes. And they do their blood work before and after, and they're just astonished at the results, even though it makes sense according to like all of the research with plant-based diets. Super easy to cook, eat, bring with you, shelf stable. I don't need to go deeper into this, but blood work is more important than photos, people, in terms of how you feel, your intestines, your head, your recovery, everything. But regardless, folks usually need to eat more. Whether they're going vegan, which is duh, you need to eat more to get in your calories. Typically foods are more voluminous, right? Strawberry, probably about 10 calories versus cookie, probably about 50 calories. This is bigger, right? Makes sense. And it's even harder with people who need to gain weight. Gaining weight is hard. Have you met people who are like, oh man, I just eat and can't gain weight? If you think lucky, not really, because they struggle gaining muscle too. It's usually the skinny people that I spend so much more effort putting on body mass and strength on rather than bigger people who just need to lose body fat and kind of lean out. Leaning out is relatively easy, honestly. Or maybe I have more experience with it because probably 90% of my clients or all of the people that I've trained always want to be smaller, lose fat, be leaner, rather than gain more muscle, be stronger, even though that's like my favorite thing to do. But yeah, that's reality. Speaking of which, if you have any of those goals, gaining muscle, losing body fat, or just learning about your current exercise form and technique, getting that situated and evaluated and making it better, you can submit the coaching application. The link is in the description. And don't forget to make the cookies. They're high protein snickerdoodle cookies that are vegan. And they're super delicious. I brought them to a birthday party of a friend of mine. I don't think there were any other vegans there except for me. But they were like just destroyed. People cleared the plate very quickly and asked me for a recipe. And I was like, all right, there you go. So yeah, that's my life as an online coach. If you have any other questions about the things that I do and don't do, you can clearly read in the description, or you can throw some questions in the comments. That will make more options for future videos. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Katya Gorbacheva, and I will see you in the next one.